What's going on, everybody? My name is Paul. Welcome back to the basketball show. And today I wanted to talk to you about Kevin Durant. Chris Broussard and Nick Wright were on a show and they were talking because Kevin Durant just crossed the 30,000 points and he's eighth on the all-time scoring list right now. They had a conversation between each other, talking about KD's legacy and what it's going to be and things like that. Now, I want to let you listen to their comments, and it's going to be, like I said, Chris Broussard and Nick Wright talking about Kevin Durant and what they think about him. And then I'm going to respond to it, and I wonder what you guys also think. So this is the comments that they made, and I'll be right back with you.
So here's the top 8 scorers of all time. LeBron, Kareem, Karl Malone, Kobe, Jordan, Dirk, Wilt, and then KD.
What a list.
Brew, what do you think Durant's legacy will be?
First, I'm happy for KD. Like, he seems more comfortable in front of the media. I see him smiling more, kind of joking a little bit more. So that's good. Obviously, he's had run-ins with the media and stuff. Legacy, obviously one of the greatest pure scorers we've ever seen. Pure scorer. I used to say before he went to Golden State, he was like a 7-foot Steph Curry. That's what I felt. He's got the great jump shot. He had the handle to get to the rim. He's obviously a great mid-range shooter. Like, that's really what I kind of viewed him as. I also look at him as pioneer, predecessor, whatever you want to call it, to today's game. Like, Magic and Bird were kind of the first big guys that did a lot of made plays on the perimeter with their shots and passing and stuff, handling. And Dirk is obviously the first, like, 7-footer to shoot threes and be a jump shooter. And Durant's the second. And Durant, obviously, I think we all agree, is better than Dirk and had the handle that Dirk didn't have, scored in, got to the rim a little better. So now, of course, that's somewhat commonplace, not at Durant's level, but big guys shooting jumpers, handling the ball. So he's got a great legacy. There's no doubt. Now, look, obviously, it's no secret that the general consensus, and I agree with it, is that he's not the great leader. He lacks the intangibles to lead teams to championships. I think that right now in the moment, that's what people look at him as. Great pure scorer, lacks the intangibles like the Steph, the LeBron, the Jordan, Kobe, those guys, to really lead teams to titles.
Tell me if you think this is fair, maybe too nice or too mean. I look at him a lot like I look at Shaq, in that one of the greatest players with one of the greatest careers ever, who I also think underachieved. Because and again, I feel badly because I really do like Kevin, and he hates these types of conversations, very public about it, and I know he thinks they're unfair because what you were describing, at the beginning, one of the most all-around skilled basketball players we've ever seen.
Right.
And Shaq is, I think, the most dominant, modern era basketball player we've ever seen. And it feels like for both of them, there was just, for Shaq, it was probably just staying in shape and the off-season work ethic. And for Durant, it was his open allergy to doing some of the things that he feels is the coach and organization's job and not his, that prevented them from being, both Shaq and Durant, in my opinion, the best case scenario of their careers is they are in the GOAT conversation. I think both of them. Like you played out 100 times, given their skill set, their dominance, all those things, and so it feels like they achieved all this great stuff, and yet it doesn't quite get there, as opposed to a guy like Bird or Steph, where you're like, man, they got 99th percentile outcomes for their careers, given what their skill sets were.
Now, after listening to that, I'm going to start off this way. Chris Broussard said something that KD is one of the best pure scorers in the NBA in history. And I agree with that. He said something that he's kind of like a 7-foot Steph Curry, something like that. I agree with that. He has a pure shot. He's a great scorer. Unbelievable movement with his height and the style of game that he plays, we haven't seen that in a 7-footer pretty much ever. I mean, he's just amazing. But one thing that he mentioned was that he compared KD to Dirk Novitzki, and saying that Dirk was one of the first, actually he said the first 7-footer that actually predated today's game. So he would be perfect for today's game. And with the 3-point shooting and overall game at a 7-footer. Now, he said he would pick KD over Dirk. And I have to unfortunately disagree with that. I would choose Dirk Nowitzki over Kevin Durant. And this is why. Many people forget that the NBA is different now than when Dirk played. Dirk already had about 8 to 9 seasons under his belt before KD came into the league. It was a slower game. It was not as 3-point oriented game. And Dirk was averaging 22, 23, 24. I think one season he had like 26 points a game. Their field goal overall is about the same. KD takes, I think, 18.7 shots a game. Dirk took like 15 point something. He was more efficient. Their rebounding is around the same. KD is a little bit more in blocks. I think 1.1 to 0.8 in Dirk Nowitzki's. But Dirk averages half the turnovers that KD does. So he's a more efficient player. And one thing I have to also say about Dirk Nowitzki and why I would choose him as a better option if I was forming a team for myself as that kind of a player. You got to remember, Dirk won as the only superstar on his team. He won a title as the only superstar on his team. Okay? Kevin Durant had to run to Golden State to get any of his titles. If he wouldn't have ran to Golden State, he wouldn't have one title under his belt. None. He would be completely titleless. He would not have anything. Now, Dirk's best support guy was Jason Terry. That was his best player on that team. Jason Terry was the biggest support guy for Dirk Nowitzki. Dirk Nowitzki beat Portland in the first round. He beat the Lakers with Kobe Bryant and Pau Gasol 4-0. 4-0. And then he kicked the ass of Kevin Durant himself and the Oklahoma City Thunder in the Western Conference Finals, 4-1. That's what Dirk did with his Dallas Mavericks. And then he went to the NBA Finals and kicked the ass of LeBron James himself with Dwayne Wade and Chris Bosh. And you're telling me you're picking KD over Dirk Nowitzki? There is no freaking way. There is no way. It's a mute argument for me. It's a bad one. He might be slightly better skilled offensively, but he doesn't have this like Dirk had. Dirk had more dog in him than KD had or has. You know, so I would definitely put Dirk in front of KD as a choice if I was forming a basketball team. There's no question about that. Now, one more thing I'm going to mention to you, Dirk has a better defensive rating than KD. And it might have something to do with exactly because the game is different. Because KD averages more points because the game is faster. Okay? You could say the same thing, that players average more points against KD because the game is faster and easier. Rules have changed and things like that. So that might impact that defensive rating. Dirk has a 104 defensive rating. KD has a 107. You know, and Dirk played less minutes a game. He played 3 minutes less per game than Kevin Durant did. Okay? And he was scoring about 4 points less. So give him another 3 minutes, he's probably going to be higher than KD in average. So just think about that. And like I said, he's more efficient. Dirk is averaging 1.6 turnovers a game for a big man like that that's scoring a lot and has the ball a lot. Kevin Durant, 3.2 turnovers a game. That's what it is. There's no question for me. Dirk, to me, is a better player, especially that he beat LeBron in the NBA Finals. He beat KD in the Western Conference Finals. He beat Kobe Bryant as the single superstar on his team in 2011. And you can check that out. That was a super run. For me, Dirk Nowitzki's one championship is way more worth than KD's 2 in Golden State. That's what I'm going to tell you. And then you got Nick Wright making a stupid comment that he thinks of KD like he thinks of Shaq. I don't even know what to say to that comment. KD, yes, he's a great scorer, but what has he achieved as himself without another guy backing him up like he had Steph Curry and Klay Thompson and Draymond Green on Golden State? He hasn't achieved anything. Nothing. You know, that's KD's career. And then Shaq, 4-time champ. And then you got Shaq is a 4-time champ. Then you got KD, 2-time champ. Only with other superstars on his team. Shaq also had Kobe, yes. But he won one in Miami with Wade as well. So that's his 4th. But Shaq was a mean and abusive guy. Have you ever seen that kind of an attitude from KD? No. Would you see KD take a team on his shoulders and take a challenge like Shaq would, you'd say? Shaq had an old school mentality. I'll do it myself. I can do it. KD never had that. KD had a chance to do it. He had an opportunity when he was going to New York to go to the New York Knicks, take on that franchise, put it on his back, and get them a title after 40 or something years. What did he decide to do? He decided to get the New York money, but he decided to go to Brooklyn because it was less pressure. He couldn't deal with that pressure, even though he was taking Kyrie with him. You know, so there's no way KD is above Dirk Nowitzki for me. And Shaq and KD, not even in the same stratosphere either. I would be building a team. I would pick Shaq before I would pick KD. I would pick Dirk Nowitzki before I pick KD in their primes. No question. That mentality alone with their production makes my team a lot better. No question. Kevin Durant's legacy is going to be as a great player, but an underachiever. And the only reason, like I said, he got those 2 titles was because he joined the best NBA team out there that just the season before kicked his ass. So, great player, not a star, a superstar, probably top 10, maybe lower than top 10. I don't know, but probably around top 10, like around 10-ish. And that's pretty much it. That's as far as I would go describing Kevin Durant's legacy. He's up there in age now. He's season 17 or season 18 right now. He had a chance. Like I said, he had a chance in New York to achieve something special, to bring the city that title, just like LeBron James had that chance. But LeBron James did his thing and he went to Miami and whatever. At least he has 4 titles and he was the main guy on those teams. You could say KD was the main guy on Golden State, but they didn't really need him. They won without him before. So that's where I stand on that. So let me know, guys, what you think of KD's legacy and how do you see him overall in the NBA history? Is he in your top 10 or is he in your top 20? Let me know. And here's some interesting videos that you can watch and take a look at. Thank you for coming in. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.